Hello, this is Gio. Hey, look what we have here. This is a garbage disposal or a food waste disposal, depending on what you'd like to call it. And this is not just any garbage disposal. This is a Maytag garbage disposal from probably around 1968. Now, I figured I'd share this today just because this thing still works and it really hasn't stopped working for 56 years or so. This is a Maytag model number FB-10. Specifically, it's Series 5. So I'm not exactly sure that it is from 1968. I did find an advertisement from 1968 showing this particular model. Along with this, they typically sold, FB-20s, which was slightly larger, but the same horsepower motor. Also the SC10 and SC20, and also the SC5 at the time. And they sold all these models from the late 60s to possibly the early 70s, but the shape and sizes of these things tended to change starting in the mid 70s. So I know at least it's either late 60s or early 70s. So the main difference between the FC and FB series is the FC stood for continuous feed and the FB stood for batch feed. So what does this mean? Well, the continuous feed is probably more familiar to you. It uses a wall switch where you kind of turn the disposal on or off. But the batch feed actually uses a magnetic stopper, as you can see here, which actually you stick this in into this hole right here, and it will and then kind of rotate it, and magnetically it will trigger a switch near the top of the disposal to turn it on and off. And then when you remove the stopper, it will turn off. And so that kind of protects your hands from getting in there, and it's a safety device. And these little stoppers were very popular. Actually, they started developing these in the late 60s, and they were popular for quite a while. And there's actually a few different models today that use these magnetic stoppers. So I'm going to test this out and you'll see it working. But just looking at this stopper, you can see it kind of has two sides. First of all, just to operate it, you would stick it in this way. And this doesn't really have a seal on the bottom, but you could also reverse it. And you can see there's a little bit of a rubber seal that actually still is there and in reasonable condition. Now that's pretty good for something over 50 years old. It's kind of amazing. This is one of the amazing features of this disposal, that I actually still own this stopper. So this thing never got lost, or if it did get lost, it was replaced when they were still replaceable. So this is one reason you will not see many old batch feeders around, because the stoppers themselves have long ago gotten lost or damaged or don't work anymore. But this one still works, and as you can see, it has kind of a rubber ring here. Now on this side, you can see two little shiny plates here. I think that there was probably a seal that came out of this, because you can actually use this as a water stop itself. So when you put it in there and kind of wiggle it in a certain direction, it will shut. And I have run water, and it kind of plugs it up because the seal on the bottom still works, but the seal on top is kind of, well, it's gone, and so it doesn't really seal. And you can see it will slowly drain. But in the day, well, actually it's kind of doing a good job here, but you can see it's kind of slowly draining, and it'll eventually drain. And that's because the seal is long gone, and it doesn't really function. I might be able to fix this or put kind of a bootleg seal on it, but I've really never felt the need to. But if you flip this thing around, this top, if you could read this, it kind of says disposal on, disposal on. And so if you want to turn on the disposal, you would stick it in this way. So let's run a little bit of cold water just to keep it going. And so you just basically stick this in
And you can hear that it turned on right away, but that's not automatic. So if I rotate it a little bit and stick it in, it doesn't turn on quite often. What you do is you rotate it until it aligns with the magnets inside the disposal, and then it'll just keep on going. And once it's on, it doesn't matter how you twist it either way, it'll just remain on until you take it off. And as you can hear, this disposal still works really well, and it still grinds up food just like it did in day one. And there you go. That is my Maytag food waste disposal or garbage disposal from 1968 to early 70s, give or take. That still works, still has the magnetic stopper, and hopefully it'll remain workable for many years to come. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.